Hi, I'm Brandon. I'm an alcoholic and addict in recovery. And today I want to talk about saying, I don't know, and admitting that we don't know something in life, in business, and whatever we're doing. So, reading a little bit from A New Pair of Glasses by Chuck C. He says, up until the time I got into this program, there was no way I could say, I don't know. There was no way I could say, I don't know, particularly in business. You don't say, I don't know in business. He goes on to say, in business, I learned to say, I don't know, but that question's important. Tomorrow, I'll know the answer to it. And tomorrow I did. As to anything I didn't know, I said, I don't know. And that's very easy because you don't have to remember what you said when you don't tell them something you don't know. You don't have to remember. Tell them the truth and you don't have to remember. So, saying I don't know is something that have not been good at historically. And part of this started in business for me. There was a job that I was in at one point in my career where one of my mentors, who was someone I respected very much, really impressed upon me the importance of not telling our clients, I don't know, when I didn't know something. And that was the last resort, that we should always try to know the answer or express some kind of knowledge. And what ended up happening was I got very scared of saying, I don't know. I was fearful of admitting that I didn't know certain things. And that was unfortunate because I was in a job where I did not know a lot of things. I was learning constantly on the job. And looking back, it would have been better if I had been able to say, I don't know, but I will get the answer to that question for you tomorrow, and then find out those answers, because I would have learned a lot more about that job and I would have had to say, I don't know, a lot less. So in my recovery, one of the things, and so before I get to that, that started to extend to other areas of my life. And it certainly didn't start with that job, but that job solidified my fear of saying I don't know. And in other areas of my life, I started to have the same fear, to the point where I very rarely would say I don't know. I always had an answer to something. I always had some kind of explanation for what was going on, to the point where I might just make it up if I didn't know. And also to the point where, I would convince myself that I was right about the things I was saying. So what happens is the truth becomes diluted when you start to get to that point. You start to veer away from the actual truth and start to live in your truth. And in my truth, there was rarely a situation where I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know the answer. I always had an answer. I always had the solution. I always knew the way things were supposed to be. In recovery, I've had to step way back from that. And it's been a relief, because being in a position where you always know the answer, you always know what's going on, and you always have a solution, that's a big burden to bear. That's a lot of responsibility if you look at it in a certain way. Now I have accepted that there is so much in this world, in this universe, in business, in life, in parenting, in being a spouse, in being a son. There's so much that I don't have the answer to, and I don't know I don't know the answer. And so accepting that has been a huge part of my recovery, because it's been like a burden has lifted. I've really been in business practicing the art of saying, I don't know, and getting the answers to the questions that I don't know. Um, And that's helped me improve not only my relationships with other people, but it's also improved their trust in me. They know I'm not feeding them, for lack of a better way to say it. They know I'm not feeding them bullshit. When I tell someone I don't know the answer to something, they know I'm telling the truth. When I tell someone that I don't know, but I'll find the answer out and then I follow through on that, that builds trust between us. And so it's important to me to continue to practice saying, I don't know, when I don't have all the answers. That extends outside of business. I used to think I had the answers to life, the universe, and everything. And if people weren't behaving in accordance with what I thought was the right way for them to behave, then they should change what they were doing. God forbid I change the way I think about things. They should change the way they're doing. And so in recovery, I've been able to take a step back from that and become more accepting and observant of life rather than being critical of life and saying, well, this particular thing isn't happening the way it's supposed to, it should change. Instead, observing the way things actually are happening and then adjusting what's going on in my brain, adjusting my perception of the world around me, adjusting what I think about how the world works, and adjusting my expectations or eliminating them altogether where that's appropriate. So, admitting that I don't know what's happening, the answer to things, admitting that I don't know something has become a really important part of my recovery. Saying I don't know is getting us closer to the truth. And getting closer to the truth is a really critical step in recovery and in spiritual growth in general. The closer we get to the truth, the truer we can be to ourselves and to the people around us. And that is going to help us build the spiritual foundation within ourselves and within our peers and our community that we need to help maintain our sobriety. So that's it for today. I'll be back here tomorrow with more. In the meantime, hope you have a good day.